Okay, I think we have everybody. We will call the April meeting of the Wood County Board of Supervisors to order at this time. I would ask the clerk to please take the roll. Supervisor Dry, you have to sign in yet? Supervisor Minor, you need to sign in yet?
Supervisor Rosar confirms.
The roll has been taken and everyone's present. At this time, I would call on Supervisor Jerry Nelson to please come forward for the invocation. And as Jerry's working his way to the front, I would ask everyone to please rise and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Dear God, we are thankful for our safe drive to this meeting. Guide us during today's actions, that we work for the good of the county and be respectful. In you we pray. Amen.
Please join the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Obviously, we're in spring and the weather changes. 2 days ago, my wife was telling me not to get sunburned while we were putting a boat in the water. This morning, I was getting snowed on while I was out turkey hunting at 5:30 in the morning. So it changes pretty quickly. First thing in our packet is dealing with the minutes from the previous session. I'd entertain a motion by Supervisor Hamilton to approve, a second by Supervisor Fire. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Seeing no discussion, all in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that carries. Today we have no excusals. We have no resignations. Under appointments and reappointments, if nobody has any problems, I will take those together. Under the appointments, we have Mike Martin and Jason Gruneberg for the Escrow Review Board, and that's in regard to the Marshfield money that we will be handling as a fiscal agent. And the other is the reappointments of Dr. Kasuk, or how did I pronounce that? Did I get close? Dr. K. Yeah, I know. I go to those meetings. I know you guys do that too, but anyway, the Health and Human Services Committee for a 3-year term, Myron Peterson to the Board of Adjustment for a 3-year term, and Jim Joyce and Laura Francis to the Community Development Block Grant Committee for a 3-year term. And I have a motion by Supervisor Rosar, a second by Supervisor Wagner. Any discussion on any of those appointments or reappointments? All in favor of confirmation, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that carries. Brings me to public comments. Is there anybody here from the public today who'd like to comment on any of the agenda items? Anything that's coming before the board or is likely to in the near future? Any public comment? Have none there. I had an acknowledgement and recognition for one of our longtime employees who's retiring. I don't see him in the room yet. I will hold this till later in that respect. And then I'd like to announce that April 26th to May 3rd is Soil and Water Stewardship Week. And it is the 60th anniversary of the NACD, Soil and Water Stewardship Week. Anyway, since its inception. So we have mentioned that. We will wait and hopefully our individual will be here at some point and we will make that presentation. And we'll shortly get into the packet. Our special order of business today is 3 minutes long, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. For those of you who haven't had the opportunity, the Local Government Institute put together a very well-prepared report on what we might do with roads in the state of Wisconsin. I don't have a lot of copies of this, but there's 2 more up here if you're interested in the long version of this. I'm pretty sure Bill Clendenning and a couple other people who attended some of the legislative meetings have probably seen this quick whiteboard presentation, but it's a very short kind of primer on what's going on. We can wait until we get into that part, I guess. So that's about 3 minutes. The other thing is I've had a couple of supervisors approach us. It was a topic of conversation at the judicial and legislative meeting on looking at the oversight of the county board as the committee structure is currently set. And I will meet for 5 minutes with the committee chairs in the back room after the meeting to set up a meeting to look at that. But prior to that, there's a short handout on your desk, very simple. We probably go further that says, do you find any, in effect, changes that are necessary with the current committee structure? Do you believe there's a lack of oversight or anything that might go along those lines? If the answer is everything's fine, I wouldn't worry about it. That's great. If there's a couple changes you'd like to make, if you note those are something that we probably would look at going forward. So that should cover that. I guess at this point, you know, since I have nobody else making a presentation, we'll get into the packet right about that. If you want to run that, do you want to? Yeah, let's just run that presentation. This is a prelude to the fact that we have another issue coming up, highway bonding issue. The Local Government Institute put this together as part of a short report. This was a rollout with the Towns Association, the League of Municipalities, the Counties Association, and the Local Government Institute. They had a special meeting at the Capitol with all the legislators. I think that most of them probably watched at least the 3-minute version. If they didn't, at least read the whole report, which is what I encouraged them to do. But we'll run this real quick because they asked us to do that.
Last year, I spent over $500 repairing my car after driving over one too many potholes. I'm a single mom, so shelling out money for pothole damage really hurts. But what's worse? Getting to work. One day I'm stuck in traffic for an hour, the next I try to take a bus, but the routes don't go where I need to go. We all need to get from here to there. Why is it so hard? I decided to figure out why Wisconsin's transportation system was failing me and a lot of folks I know. You might be surprised to hear what I found out. Those potholes that ruined my tires, guess what? More are on the way. Over the past 11 years, Wisconsin went from being ranked 22nd in the nation to 48th when it came to maintenance efforts on local roads. That means Wisconsin roads are bad and getting worse. Less than half of our highways have pavement rated good or better. In urban areas, only 15% of pavement is rated good. I'm not the only one that depends on a good road network. Wisconsin's whole economy is in danger. To have good jobs in all parts of Wisconsin, we need good roads. And we have a lot of roads to maintain. We're number 5 in the nation in miles of paved roads per capita. Roads link all of our regional economies, and our leading industries happen to be ones that are the most dependent on a good transportation system. Can you imagine what Wisconsin would be like without a healthy agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism economy? Another thing I found out is that this is not just a state issue. In fact, it's certainly a local government issue. For every mile of state or interstate highway, there are 10 miles of local roads, plus 82 bus systems. So why is the transportation network failing? State and local funding just isn't keeping up with current demand, and that means we're definitely not investing in our future. If you live in Wisconsin, this affects you. Maintaining a modern transportation network will improve the state's economy and reduce the burden on all of us. Studies show again and again that investing in transportation results in a better economy and more private investment. And that means better jobs. So what can we do? I found out that there are lots of ideas on the table. We could return to indexing the gas tax. Maybe allow sales tax to cover fuel purchase, increase vehicle registration fees, or encourage more widespread use of other mechanisms, like wheel tax, or working across jurisdictions on a regional basis to solve the problem. Those are just a few ideas. There are many more. The key is to find a solution that's balanced, fair, and makes the best use of local resources along with state and federal funds. Whatever we do, we should get it done soon. It's one thing for my car to fail on me because I run into a pothole. We simply cannot afford to let our entire state economy fall into a pothole. Our congested, deteriorated roadways and lack of transportation alternatives are making Wisconsin less attractive to visitors and less competitive in business. I'm one mom that thinks it's time to fill the potholes and keep Wisconsin moving.
Okay, the point here is, you can download this full report, by the way, and it's really good to look at. we have the opportunity where we are, and part of it is because what our legislative committee has done, but we have great communication with our local legislators, and that needs to continue. I'm surprised when I'm in Madison how many county board supervisors never have a discussion with their legislators. This is a common theme of the meetings we have. We do have their ear. But we know right now that from a funding standpoint, all of those dollars are getting directed to the southeast part of the state. We need a way to redirect those dollars up to us in the local level. No matter how high they set the tax rate, no matter what they do with gas tax indexing or bonding, all those dollars keep going to fix those interstate highways in that southeast corner of the state. We need you to constantly call those legislators to make your voice heard and to make sure those dollars come back up here to assist us in what we're doing. And one of the things you'll find in this, and you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out, but everywhere those roads are developed, everywhere they have good transportation leads to economic development clusters. And I could show you them all in there, kind of project by project, but development follows those transportation corridors, and we need those monies reallocated back up here. So I encourage you to go to the LGI website. If you can't do that, you can grab number 2 that's up here and take a look at it, because this will be part of what we're going to be talking about in our county over the next couple of months. Mr. Clendenning, Supervisor.
Thank you. And what you said, Lance, is very true. Just 14 things were removed out of the budget just because people talk to their legislators about it. Countywide assessment. If nobody or very few people would not have said anything, it would be in there. So it does help to just call your legislators, talk to them. Whenever there's something in the area, go to it and express your concerns. Very important.
And to piggyback on that, the purpose of that 3 minutes, and I encourage you to watch it at home when it won't buffer, is when you talk to people, it's good to have the correct information. I didn't realize we went from 20-something to 48 in dollars spent on maintenance, or how many miles we have. Those are important numbers, so you have some facts when you talk. So I'll leave that at that, and we'll go into the packet. Supervisor Winch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What happened with that referendum that we passed back in, I believe it was November, whereby all of the gas tax money, registration, and some other tax issues pertaining to vehicles were supposed to be, well, that was a referendum anyway, they approved about 8-1, where those funds would be used for roads only.
They are.
There's no mention of that.
They are. That was kind of old hat before this came out. That is a done deal. That money stays in the transportation. Segregated fund. I don't call it trust, it's a segregated fund. The point was going forward, even with that, if they don't do something different, whatever it is, open road toll, and you pick it, all the options are in there. Vehicle miles traveled, which would hurt the rural area. But there's a lot of things that could be done, but we still have a multi-billion-dollar shortfall. All right, packet. Guess I'm on about page, well, the referrals went out on page 2 to the proper places. So page 7 in your packet, the executive committee meeting minutes of Tuesday, April 7th. Page 8 is the same. Page 9 is the monthly letter of comments from the finance department, as well as page 10. The maintenance monthly comments on 11 and 12. The report from IT, Amy Cup, begins on 13. Further on 14, safety and risk management monthly report on page 15, and comments from the county clerk on 16. Any questions on any of those? Questions? That brings us to the first resolution in the packet, page 17, and I'd ask the clerk to please read the resolution.
This will be Resolution 15-4-1 to amend the 2015 budget for UW Extension Farm Technology Days for the purpose of fully funding the anticipated expenditures for 2015 through 2018. Fiscal note to transfer $11,000 from available balance in contingency and $32,000 from available balance in Junior Fair Fund to UW Extension Farm Technology Days. At the time of this request, the funds available in contingency are $329,775. At the time of this request, the funds available in Junior Fair are $32,000, and there is no plan for their expenditure. The adjustment to the budget totals $43,000.
I have a motion to approve that by Hendler and a second by Hinkle. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Supervisor Winch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have an issue with the spending for the technologies, but what I have an issue with is taking the money from the junior fair and then giving it to technologies. Wouldn't it have made more sense if we're not going to use that money, take it back to the general fund and take it out of contingency so we have a paper trail of what that money was spent for? We obviously levied $32,000 for the junior fair, that's what we told the public, and now you're going to move it over here. I personally think it should be changed, so that it comes out of contingency so we have a paper trail of what it was spent for.
That explanation was given by our finance director before, but Supervisor Wagner, did you want to speak to that? And then Supervisor Minor?
I'll yield this.
Okay, Supervisor Minor first.
This is senior member.
I got too much yielding going on and nobody's talking.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. We'll talk about this as I push you down the stairs later. No, and it made sense because this is within the same department, and if I'm saying anything wrong, Mike, stand up and wave your hands or something. But the paper trail's here. I mean, there's the resolution of what account it's coming out of. And we can go from A to B to C, or just go from A to C right away. So I think the paper trail is there, to be honest with you, but that's just my opinion. And I think the opinion of the finance director.
Supervisor Wagner.
Yeah, I think if we had wanted to be actuarially correct, I think, but when we advanced the money last November, we should have adjusted, we could have adjusted the junior fair budget, then to put the 32 back in contingency, and then the question would have been here. But again, that is a lot of paperwork, and that's a lot of, at the time that was done, I think the budget was already passed, if I'm not mistaken.
Or was being passed that same day, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, it was the same day, thank you for reminding me. So, yeah, I understand Mr. Wench's point and the fact that it was done this way. I know it's confusing to him, but I think this will work, and it will eliminate an amount of paperwork by the staff, so, thank you.
Bill, did you want some further explanation from the finance director? You're good now. Okay.
I'll just let it go.
Any further discussion? Supervisor Hamilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you explain why we put $32,000 into that fund? What were we going to do that we're not going to do now?
Well, we do every year. We happen to have given them that money last year before the end of the year, and it had been appropriated. Yeah. So the money was there. This was, call it a budget correction if you want right now.
Yeah,
the money goes to junior fair every year.
Yeah, the $32,000 is every year we give that money to the junior fair to help support that particular entity. Last year they said we could really use next year's funding. Last year we could use 2015's funding in 2014. It would really help us financially. So we did that, but we didn't take it out of the budget because that request came in pretty late and the budget was already published. And $32,000 out of a $100 million budget, it just didn't pay to republish everything. So the money was left in there. It's just, which pocket is it coming out of? Is it coming out of the contingency pocket, or is it going to come out of this pocket? That's all the question is.
Any further questions? Any further questions? Can I ask you please vote? That resolution passed 16-3. Page 19 in your packet, second resolution from the Executive and Highway Infrastructure and Recreation Committee. I ask the clerk to please read that resolution.
This will be Resolution 15-4-2, assist in the funding of a Discover Wisconsin marketing package, which will highlight water recreation opportunities in the South Wood County area and outdoor recreation opportunities in the Marshfield area. Fiscal note, the total cost for the program is $36,000. Wood County's contribution of $17,000 would be funded with a transfer from contingency. The balance of the contingency account prior to the transfer is $329,775. The adjustment to the budget totals $17,000.
We have a motion by Supervisor Fire, a second by Supervisor Hamilton. Any discussion on the resolution? Supervisor Roser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly intend to support this resolution. You know, when I was reading it over, I thought, darn, I wish there were a better way we could quantify this. And then you spoke to that in the paper about how difficult it is to quantify our return on investment here. So I guess my appeal is that any anecdotal information or anything that we can show that this has been a wise investment of our dollars would be to our advantage in case we ever wanted to do this again. So in whatever way we can show that this has benefit to our county, I think we need to keep up with those stories over the years. So even though a quantification is not possible, at least anecdotally we can show that this has been a good investment.
And I do have a couple representatives here from those organizations who, when we get through this, if you want to hear more anecdotal information, maybe we'll get you up to the microphone. Supervisor Ashbeck, you had it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see the resolution isn't quite right. They put it in the Marshfield paper yesterday because they put in there that they just want to promote the tourism in the southern part and the Marshfield area. It made it a little confusing for us people in the north end, but I see the resolution states here all of Wood County, but it was interpreted yesterday different than the Marshfield paper.
Same in Rapids paper.
There's, if you'd like me to bring those representatives up to speak, I can certainly do that if anybody has any additional questions. Would you like that quickly? No?
Yeah, just to see them.
Supervisor Clendenny, I'll go to you first and then we'll do that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is great. It's Northwood County, I hate to bring this up, and Southwood County getting together on this. But the main thing is that a lot of this is concern of water and quality and quantity of water. Let's remember that in everything we do in the betterment for Wood County. Not only discover Wisconsin and advertising our tourism, but if certain things happen in this county, we may not have that good quality water and the quantity.
Since you made the trip in and down, if you'd like to go to a microphone and take a minute and speak to this, we'll certainly welcome that. Hate to have anybody drive all the way over and then not take a minute to explain.
I'll just introduce myself. Hi, I'm Matt McLean, Director of the Marshfield Convention and Visitors Bureau. Yeah, we really, the Discover Wisconsin piece is a big piece for us to get visitors to Marshfield. Some anecdotal evidence, the State Department of Tourism publishes for every dollar spent on tourism, development, and promotion, there's $6 returned to the state and local taxes. You know, we actually, Marshfield just took part in a piece of a Small Discover Wisconsin episode featuring the Ag Tourism Association that just aired a couple weeks ago and is going to be airing for the next 2 years. That has a tiny piece, but we really wanted to focus on sports and recreation. Talking about the water element, we're going to be featuring a lot of stuff in the dry land area closer to Marshfield, such as biking trails, the Cranberry Century Bike Tour, Hub City Duathlon, and so that'll be kind of a differentiation that the Southwood County will focus a little bit more on the water activities, and that Northwood County will be a little bit more of the sports and recreation on land. But let me go ahead and introduce Laura here.
Hello, I'm Laura Nelson. I'm Executive Director at Visit Wisconsin Rapids, representing the Southwood County area. Also, I just wanted to bring to light that Discover Wisconsin is no longer just a television program. I think that that's how a lot of people have seen it, and that's how their main media stream has made them so popular. But just to include a few other media sources, it will include over 2 years 3 spots on television, 6 spots on their radio series, and they'll be divided evenly between North and Southwood County. We'll be streaming live on their website through the episode and bits and pieces in rotation with other episodes that are taking place at that period of time. In addition, they'll have an extensive social media and blogging representation online, so that is one way we can quantify. I know it's a very small piece of the pie, but when you can see how many likes, how many shares, etc., that is at least a very small piece we can use to quantify.
Thank you, and I appreciate the additional information. Now, after we heard that, does anybody have any additional questions? All right, we will go back to the resolution. We've ended discussion, and I would ask you, Supervisor Wagner, do you have something? No? I think we had a motion. Second, right?
This was the discussion.
But we have a second. All right.
We have a third.
All right, please vote. that resolution passed 19-0. Don't feel bad, Ed, I forget where I am at, and I'm up here writing it down, so. Page 20 in your packet, third resolution, this one from the executive committee.
This will be Resolution 15-4-3 to accept offer of sale of tax deeded property. Fiscal note offered amount of $12,500 minus real estate taxes, special charges, publication fees, abstracting fees for a loss of $332.84.
I have a motion by Supervisor Minor to approve, a second by Supervisor Bride. Any discussion on this resolution? Any discussion? I have to wait a second because it has to say vote before I can say, please vote. Now, please vote. Again, that vote 19-0. Thank you. Could you switch controls with them there, Mr. Clendenning? Yours was the one that was sitting there. That motion was by Minor and the second was by Bride. Okay, page 21 in your packet. Minutes of the Health and Human Service Committee of March 17th. Page 22, Human Services Committee of March 23rd. As well as page 23, pages 24 through 20. Supervisor Rosa?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say, as we finish these minutes, that we've had a long-term public member on our Health and Human Services Committee. She actually came on the committee when it was Unified Services Board in 1991, and she's chosen not to be reappointed. Her name is Bonnie Jakes, and I just wanted to acknowledge her publicly for her many years of service. We will have recognition time at our next Health and Human Services Committee, but I just wanted the public to know that we are recognizing her and are so appreciative of her many years of service, and thank you for letting me make that announcement.
That is a tremendously long commitment to public service, and thank you for that. All right, page 24 begins the community care connections, their board meeting minutes. Page 24, 25, 20, it goes through page 28. Actually, it goes through page 27. Page 28 is the regular board of directors meeting of North Central Community Action. Any questions on that or any of those prior? Page 29, the Wisconsin Community Action Program Association, their WSCAP agenda in regard to the state budget. It starts on 29 and 30. Any questions? Health Department's monthly report beginning on 31, 32, 3, and 4. The report from Director Redder from Human Services on 35, continuing on 36, 7. Supervisor Wagner.
Yes, sir. I would, as some of you may know, there was an article in this morning's Marshfield News Herald concerning some difficulties that were out at the annex about a month ago. Again, Supervisor Rosar, as chairman of that committee, advised us of what has been done to address that.
I can either have that or Director Redder.
I mean, I can do it. This is public knowledge, is it not?
Absolutely.
So
It was in the newspaper.
It's a paper story.
And I didn't see the paper.
Yes.
so
Oh,
yes,
it was in the paper.
Yeah.
It was.
Kathy, maybe you can best
Did you see
address
the paper?
around the incident. Yeah, well, again, this happened several weeks ago. The story was, there was a brief blurb back when it occurred. There was, I understand, a front page story today. I think I was informed. Rhonda Kozik, the administrator from Norwood, is at the microphone.
On April 3rd, I believe, we had a resident that was detained on the admissions unit, the hospital unit. There will be a full report in our board report for the next month because we are always a month behind. So You will see the report, but we had an individual that was detained on the unit. As per policy, she was searched upon coming on the unit. Her belongings were locked up. She had a visitor later that day, and she, we believe, was given matches by the visitor and started a mattress on fire. The fire department was called. The mattress was destroyed and a headboard. The patient will be charged with felony as well as resisting arrest, assaulting the officers, and the patient will be billed for the cost. There's no charge to the county. There wasn't enough damage for a property claim, but she will be charged, I believe it's $1,800 for the cost of cleanup, and we had to repaint the wall, but the room was not destroyed at all. We just replaced the bed frame and the mattress, and was in use, I think, a day or two later.
Okay, are there, as long as I've got you up there, are there any follow-up questions in regard to that?
There will be a full report to the board then.
It will be, I guess the answer will be in the Health and Human Services packet, and then obviously they can expand upon that at the time. Rhonda, did you have additional?
The state was in our building last Monday for that unit, and looked over all our policies, looked over the reports, and feel that we did everything proper that we could have done. So we turned it into the state right away, reported the fire to the state, and everything was taken care of, and they said that we had done a good job. The sprinkler wasn't hot enough that there was actually a sprinkler right above the bed, and the sprinkler didn't even go off. So it was just real smoky, as you can imagine. A plastic mattress smoldered, and there was a lot of smoke on the unit, but damage was minimal.
Does the board feel they've been briefed on this, addressed this, your concerns at this particular time at least? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, page 37, basically in the packet, still in their minutes. 38 and 39. Page 40, the Veteran Service Officers Report, and there were several requests, for those of you who know, made of our Veteran Service Office, some mandates that came down from the state that have since been resolved and handled. Our county did everything correctly, but there was concern, I think, around the state. And you know, this is something else you've read in the paper, and I'm not trying to prolong this meeting. Rock, I'll tell you what, just so these people know, why don't you take 1 minute and tell them what went on there? I'd appreciate that. 1 minute.
Really, 1 minute.
I know who I was talking to.
It all started with, we get a grant from the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs. It's a small grant. Wood County gets $11,500. The max is $13,000. The minimum is $8,500. And things were put out there years ago and never really monitored or anything. And every county approached it slightly different. So they put in an audit, and then they changed this audit into this huge, it morphed into a life by itself. Then they proposed some stuff to the Wisconsin Counties Association on removing the grant and making it a block grant that anybody, not just CVSOs and counties, could apply for. They had, so as the WCA ambassador and our legislative chairman for our state association, I got involved. End result, they went to the governor, got a whole bunch of things changed. Now there's more accountability, more visibility of this grant process. I think it's going to be a good thing. We still have some administrative rules that we've got some concerns about. We'll talk to the people at WCA who are supposed to help the department write those rules. Great learning process, and I really think WCA came to bat for the county's grant throughout the state. They really were part of the team, and they now have my home cell phone.
Thanks, Rob. This is to Supervisor Clendening's point earlier. This came to light. The cost of this audit would have been in excess of $250,000 to the county. The audit would have cost more than the total amount of dollars in the grant. It was ridiculous. And because of that, because of the veterans organization, the WCA happened to be up in the offices when they were making a phone call to the Capitol, and they said, if you want 5,000 veterans on that front lawn tomorrow, they'll be there. You might want to reevaluate what you're doing. And as a result of that, these requests were ridiculous. They involved, like, what were your hiring practices and what questions did you ask of the candidate 10 years ago? I mean, it was that ridiculous. So the point again, those conversations with your legislators make a difference. All right. Again, I'll get off this. Page 41 in your packet, the Health and Human Services, the Edgewater Haven report from Amy Slattery. Brings me to page 42, which is a resolution from the Health and Human Services Committee.
This will be Resolution 15-4-4 to secure state funding to support mandated communicable disease prevention and control for population health. Fiscal note requesting $2,500,000 per fiscal year statewide to be distributed to local and tribal health departments under a formula that would provide a base amount for each health department, plus a supplemental amount based on the population served by the health department.
For the reading of the resolution, I have a motion by Supervisor Rosar, a second by Supervisor Bride. Any discussion on the resolution? Any discussion? Please vote. And that resolution passed 19-0. Page 43 in your packet, minutes of the Wood County Public Safety Committee of March 9, as well as 44, 45, 46, the Humane Officers Report on 47, the Coroner's Report on 48, various information from the daily populations in the jails, starting on 49 and going through 53, which is 49 through 53. Page 54, minutes of the SEED meeting of Tuesday, March 17th. Minutes of the Joint Executive Committee and the Conservation Education and Economic Development Committee meeting of March 17th on 55. Minutes of the SEED meeting again of Tuesday, March 17th on 56. Same committee, their meeting of April 1st on 57, 58, 59, 60 and 61. Page 62, their meeting minutes from April 7th. Any question on any of those? Page 63 in your packet, the North Central IPEC Board meetings, 63, 4, and 5, pages 63, 64, and 65. Page 66 begins the activities report from the Land Conservation Office, with Jerry Stokes' report on 66, 67, 68. Peter Manley's report from University Extension begins with his report on page 69, 70, 71, and 2. Questions? The report from the Planning and Zoning Office begins on page 73 and goes through page 77. I'll give you a minute to go through those. On page 78 is the 2015 Wood County Spring Pouch Program agenda. Page 79 just starts some additional information on timeline of maintenance and fee cards. Any questions there on 79 or 80? Pages 81 through 90, I believe 81 through 90, I'll get there in a second, is the Community Development Block Grant statistics. That's 81 through 90. The report from CWEB, their minutes from Tuesday, February 24th. pages 91 through 98. Okay, 91 through 98. And we give a minute to see if we made any notations there anywhere. A lot of reports. Page 99 through 112 is the annual report from Marshfield Economic Development. Any questions? Anybody from Marshfield want to add anything? Ed, Peter, Mike? No? Okay. Page 113 through 118 is the draft model ordinance. Flooded agricultural districts, cranberry farms is the heading on the first page. That's pages 113 through 118. Everybody's quiet, okay. Page 119, additional resolution from the Seed Committee.
This will be Resolution 15-4-5. Allow Kylie Brown, Wood County 4-H Program Advisor, the opportunity to attend the National Extension Conference on Volunteerism, May 4th through the 7th in Portland, Maine. This conference is sponsored by Extension Programs and is held every other year. The intended audience of this conference is for national, state, and regional and county professional extension staff from all extension programs interested in building the capacity of volunteers into program efforts and creating an effective volunteer delivery system within program areas. Kylie was asked by the Wisconsin 4-H Assistant Program Leader, Candy O'Neill, to attend as part of a 9-person Wisconsin 4-H team. Fiscal note, $250 of county budgeted money, expenses being flight of $408, registration of $250, lodging of $380, meals and travel of $112, for a total of $1,150.
Motion by Zerflu, second by Hokamp. Any discussion? Any discussion on the resolution? Okay, seeing none, please vote. And that resolution passed 19-0. Page 120 in your packet, minutes of the Judicial and Legislative Committee of March 17th. Page 120. Page 121, minutes of the HERC Committee. Their minutes from March 17th on 121. Their minutes from April 1st on 122, 23, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Any questions on any of those?
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, Supervisor Nelson.
Well, there again, I'm trying to find it here, but they're referring to a project of IOH, something on the highways. What is that?
Implementation of husbandry.
Implements of husbandry.
In other words, you can't get married on the
Tractors.
road.
Big farm equipment tractors.
Can't get married on the road.
Does that answer that okay?
I guess it does.
Yeah, large farm equipment. Anyway, I have a couple that had their hands up. Supervisor Henkel first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's 125. There's a reference to an administrative fee being enacted. And I was wondering if this is a limited time or a permanent fee that's going to be put in place, because it was to replenish a fund.
Either Supervisor Bryce or
The Finance Director Martin or the Accounting Supervisor Peckham would be better equipped to answer that question. Yes, that would be the bus that is train holder.
Okay, John.
The plan right now is for it not to be unlimited, but it's going to take a while to replenish that fund. Years.
Oh.
Years meaning 3 or 25?
Closer to the latter.
Oh, my.
Supervisor Wagner? No. I just saw your hand up there. I wasn't sure what you were getting ready to write. Did I catch everybody there? Supervisor Roser, did you have a question?
No, I was trying to get your attention for Supervisor Nelson.
All right, I guess that gets me through those minutes. Page 128 is minutes of the Wood County Wildlife Advisory Committee of January 27th. I have the Parks Construction Supervisors Report on 129, and it starts their reports from the Park and Forestry Division 130, 31. Any questions of the Parks or Highway Committee? Page 132, minutes of the Aging Disability Resource Center of Central Wisconsin on 132. Continuing their meeting, or their minutes on February 12th on 133. 134. 135. Their Finance Committee minutes on 136. More minutes of the same from January 8th on 137. And 138. Anybody from the ADRC board that wants to add anything to those? Mike or Doug? You guys are good. Okay. Page 139 in your packet, the Wood County Library Board minutes of January 8th. Page 140, the McMillan Memorial Library Board of 140 and 141. Page 142, South Central Library System minutes, go to 143 as well. Page 144, minutes from March 24th of the Spray Irrigation Waste Ad Hoc Committee, Supervisor Clendon.
I just want to go back to the McMillan Library. Just to let you know, the library conference this year is going to be held on May 6th, 7th, and 8th, and it's going to be held at the Hotel Mead right here in Wisconsin Rapids.
So attendance should be easy.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for that. Any questions on the spray irrigation minutes of 144? Their attendance sheet on 145 and 146. I will try to do that presentation acknowledgement. I had contact with that individual the other day. I thought they would be in attendance. Maybe something came up last minute. We did have a conversation a week ago. I guess I got nothing really else. I guess I do have something else.
I spoke with the IT director right before the meeting. There is another iPad update if you're getting an alert. So a quickie update, about 15 minutes, if you would drop off your iPads in the IT department with eHor, that can be accomplished.
I guess I do have a couple other real quick things. I see Dean Pat Sturz in the back. Called me the other day with an announcement. Has that been shared with your board? Maybe you'd like to just go to the microphone for a second. We always appreciate the relationship that we have had with the UW Marshfield.
On June 30th, I will be retiring, but some of you may have heard about our STEM project, and I will continue to help raise funds until we have all funding for that building that the University Foundation was planning to raise. And it has been a great privilege to have served the university, the city of Marshfield, and Wood County, and all of our students and citizens. So thank you for this honor.
I want to thank you for your service. And then the last thing I have is I'd like the committee chairs of those standing committees to meet with me for about 5 minutes in the back room over there, no more than 5 minutes. Anything else come before the board? Oh, there's a handout on your desk, and the reason I'm having that meeting back there, I've had a couple of supervisors, and about a couple of them asked if we look at, we did a restructure of the entire board when we had a reduction, in the number of supervisors, when the board was cut in half. We set a committee up, they came up with a new committee structure, we implemented that, and we've been working under that for a number of years now. There's been a couple of questions, I guess, in regard to, is that the best way to do it? So instead of putting out a very long questionnaire, we started very simply. Does it work or doesn't it work? Kind of yes or no. And in either way, if it could work better, what might you suggest? The committee chairs are going to meet briefly to set up a meeting. If we have a number of those responses that say we'd like to see some changes, I will set up a meeting, and that's what we're going to do in the back, with those committee chairs to take a look at what we're doing. So go ahead, Supervisor.
Where do you want these?
You can give them to Cindy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, you can put your name on them, you don't have to put your name on them. We're just trying to, I have had no complaints from any department heads. I have not had a lot of supervisors approach me. But I guess the point is, if there's a way to have a, an improvement process, it always makes sense to look at. So put that on your desk. I guess with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn by Supervisor Hamilton, second by Supervisor Lightning. All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.
You don't want to leave?